All right, happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the daily broadcast, a rare Friday night extravaganza, but extravaganza it shall be here in the Arctic Air Studios. If your air gets too Arctic, you know what to do. Call the Bear, callthebear.com. We're brought to you tonight by The Reserve, a culinary tavern in Lubbock, 103rd and Quaker. You can watch the Tech game tomorrow. Open up at 10 for brunch, 11 o'clock kickoff. And we're brought to you by South Plains College. A lot of great Red Raiders start off as great Texans. South Plains College in Levelland, the road to Raiderland runs through Levelland. Let's get you guys in. Let's find out what you're thinking on a Friday. Harbaugh versus the Big 10, Big 12 maybe too. Who are you rooting for in that one? Score predictions. Kansas, Texas Tech. Kansas favored by 4. This is not a basketball deal. This is a football deal. And then the most Texan thing you have done this week. All of that and then anything else that's on your mind. Jump on the United Supermarkets text line. It's not too late to tailgate. Breakfast version. Make some breakfast tacos tomorrow. Go to United Supermarkets, Market Street. Text in if you're on X, that's the Twitter app, not drugs, or YouTube Live, 806-772-0197. That's how we get your comments there tonight. All right, so that's what we got going on this evening. Looking forward to visiting with you wonderful folks tonight as, it's a rare Friday, but football season now, for me, over on the high school ranks as Rawls eliminating ropes from the playoffs last night, 28-13 on a frigid, wet night in Abernathy, Texas. So that's why we're here with you guys on a Friday night. Shall we begin? Let's do this in 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, theraiderland.com, the website. You start your day there every day. We got Raiderland hot links waiting for you. We got questions of the day. We got news, comments, and other things. And all of our original content you can find there at theraiderland.com. We're in the Arctic Air Studios tonight. Not too Arctic here on a Friday in West Texas. I guess we would say seasonal. Off to the west, some showers moving through on a Friday. For some of the high school playoff games tonight, that may impact them. Hopefully, they have dressed properly. That's some horrible, horrible product placement there. Oh, well, we do the best we can with what we got, and we go from there. Now, what are we looking for tonight? Your Texas Tech, Kansas score predictions. We will have Raiderland Rewind brought to you by Thacker Jewelry, a Lubbock, West Texas legend, tomorrow after the game, probably about 3 o'clock or thereabouts. But we'll get our predictions in tonight and how you think this game is going to go. You can also tell us the most Texan things you've done. And then this whole Harbaugh versus the Big 10 is fascinating. There will be lawyers. There will be lawsuits. There will be restraining orders, TROs, temporary injunctions, permanent injunctions, conjunction junction. What's your function? Who are you rooting for? I'm rooting for chaos. I'm rooting for judges. I'm rooting for him walking out onto the sidelines tomorrow at Penn State and the Big 10 sending, I don't know, some sort of legal force after him to try to stop him. He has his own people, and he looks at the Big 10 and says, you know what? I don't think I'm going to let you arrest me today. And he coaches anyways. And Michigan tells the Big 10, go hang. We don't need you. We are the Big 10. We'll go talk to the TV networks directly. We'll go be Notre Dame. We don't care anymore. This is what it's all leading to. This is where we are getting with all of this. Situations like what's going on here with multiple jurisdictions involved, i.e. the NCAA and the conference. And then a school like Michigan saying, we just really don't care. You don't seem to be hearing us, Big 10. You don't seem to be hearing us. We really don't care what you think. All of this is getting us closer every day to the disillusion of all of that nonsense. And the major players in college football do their own deals directly with the networks. And the networks are waiting with open arms and open wallets and open checkbooks. All right, so let's get in. You can get it on the United Supermarkets text line, 806-772-0197. Get your score predictions in for Texas Tech and Kansas. 4-point game right now. I think that's probably where we're going to go off on this one. Where are we sitting on the total right now? Where's my total? Oh, come on now. Help me out here. Where's my total? You guys keep moving stuff around on me on some of these websites, and I can't keep up with everything. So 62. is the total. Although we've just moved back to a consensus 3.5 within the last hour. There's still a few fours hanging, but a lot of money kind of pushing this thing back to -3.5. That is probably where we're going to go off on that. And I think that's exactly where this game is for my money. It'll be a Texas Tech team with the healthiest Baron Morton you've seen since going into the West Virginia game. Taj Brooks, they need to let him do his thing. You've got the offensive line moved around with Wilburn to center, Stats to guard. You're hoping that that will maybe improve some things. Second game that they have done this, they did that in the win against TCU, talking about the offensive line configuration. The defense is the defense at this point. And then there's Kansas, who's good, who's explosive. They're not missing a beat with Bean at quarterback, with Daniels, Neal at running back. They just continue to win. They continue to play well. There's a reason why they're a 3.5, 4-point favorite in this game. They're probably a better football team than Texas Tech right now. We opined earlier in the week, are they a better program than Tech right now? I'm not ready to say that. But can they be a better team right now this week than Texas Tech? Absolutely, in any given week. So where do we think this thing ends up? I think it's right around the total, but we're going to get there a little different way. This thing to me just reeks of an overtime game. I can just smell it from here. So I've got this game going to overtime, 27-27. Both teams scratching out some field goals as the day goes on. You go to overtime tied at 27, and this is always a crapshoot. I'll take Kansas 30-27 in overtime over the Red Raiders. This is the first time I have picked Kansas to beat Texas Tech in football. Ever. Period. End of sentence. Ever in the history of ever. The first time we have ever done that. But we're going to go with Kansas in this one in overtime. I think it'll be a close game. One of the things that still makes me nervous about Tech is you are one hard hit on Baron Morton from being right back where you were at Kansas State with Jake Strong, who's obviously not ready at this point as a young quarterback to really handle that within the Big 12. That makes me nervous because, they're continuing to put Morton in harm's way. They're not running him like they ran Shuck earlier in the year, or the way Shuck ran Shuck, as he called a lot of plays at the line of scrimmage for his own self. But I just have not a bad feeling, but anytime it's that fragile, and we've seen how fragile it is for Texas Tech at the quarterback spot, that makes me a little bit nervous. So we'll go 30-27. We will take Kansas on that one. You can give us the most Texan thing you have done this week. We had some interesting replies to that on the social media channels earlier today. That sounds incredibly efficient. In case of nuclear warning, go to your social media channels and don't forget, climb under your desk and put your English textbook over your head. You'll be completely safe from anything that might or might not happen. So, yeah, we had some interesting responses on that. I guess Texas high school football for me last night in the cold and the rain. That's about as Texan as it gets, I think. A Thursday night. Chris killed a wild pig. That escalated quickly. See where we went from Texas high school football to Chris killed a wild pig on a Friday night. Was it a wild pig or a wild hog? Pig or hog? Hog or pig? Pigs get slaughtered, hogs get fat. Or hogs get slaughtered and pigs get fat. I never can remember the exact terminology for investing. I just know if you stay at the trough too long, you end up getting killed by the market. So Chris killed a hog of some sort. Did you do it on purpose? Did it piss you off? Like pull a knife on it? Shivved it? How do I add that? I feel like we all of a sudden need more details on that. And then if anybody has any thoughts on the Harbaugh Big 10 thing that's playing out, it's just beautiful. He'll leave Michigan. He'll be coaching the NFL next year. He'll leave Michigan, and they will dead pig is good pig, absolutely. Any and all reasons. The early game tomorrow, so that's the best part about it is you got Tech going early. And then you have the drama of what's going to happen there at Penn State, Happy Valley. Every single time destroy your passers. Yeah, they're evil. They're horrible. The pig bomb is real, and it done went off. And at some point, it's going to get into the nice, proper white folk cities around the state of Texas, and they're going to freak out. Dennis Ryan, I think Tech needs to play a perfect game to beat Kansas. Your thoughts? No, they don't need to play a perfect game. One can't. No team can. They would have to play a good game, but they don't have to play a perfect game. If you're a 3.5-point dog on the road, you don't have to play perfect by any stretch of the imagination. It would be nice if this defense turned somebody over and the Tech didn't turn it over. That'd be a really good start if you want to flip that script. Again, Taj Brooks, play action pass, tight end, and then maybe pop something down field with X wide or something. But you don't have to play perfect. You just have to play good. Again, I think it's a close game. I'll take Kansas in overtime. Who knows? Maybe if this were in Lubbock, I'd take Texas Tech. But Kansas with that long-standing, huge, massive home field advantage that is respected near and far across the world of college athletics. You don't roll into Fog Allen Fieldhouse and just think you're going to, oh, wait, they're not playing. Anyhow, they're in Kansas. So 30-27, Kansas overtime, what I got. You're in the number. That's all we care about, right? Cover the spread. Bean scares you. He seems like a nice enough guy. I think what we're seeing with this offensive linepool is just really explosive. They're one of the top teams in explosive plays in college football right now. Texas Tech is not. Texas Tech is like around 85 on one of the metrics, and that same deal, Kansas, I believe, is a top 15 team. That gives you a little cause for concern right there, that they can pop you for a couple of big plays here and there, and you're just not really getting any if you're Texas Tech. It's just that hasn't been the nature of this team this year. That's okay. You don't have to have them to win. You can grind out 17 play drives and go get a win. But Bean, certainly with Daniels being out and Bean coming in, they don't seem to have missed a beat. Not a great day statistically for Bean against Oklahoma, but came back immediately against Iowa State and put up some numbers. So there you go. I don't know that he's scary. Val is probably scary. Val's watching. Most Texan thing you did this week, Tech Kansas score predictions. I've got it 30-27 Kansas in overtime. That's a cover. That's an under. That's a dead under, really, if we're going 62. That's an under even in overtime. And unders go to die in overtime. So playing with fire on that one. This would be one of those I would issue a complete stay away from a fiduciary standpoint. I would not have this in my quiver of arrows that I would be firing at the gambling dartboard this weekend. There's just Texas Tech, to me, is just still really hard to game, hard to figure out from week to week. And I just don't believe in Kansas, even though here they are doing what they do. Ryan says it's weird to say, but beating Kansas would make me feel a lot better on the season. It should. If you don't like saying beating Kansas, just say beating Team X and do the old blind taste test. And then just look at their credentials, look at your credentials. You go, on the road, you're beating this team on the road? That's a really good win. Probably be the best road win for no, not probably. It would be the best road win for Joey McGuire during his time at Texas Tech. That we're saying that about a Kansas squad is weird. It's off-putting. I do not like it at all, you know. But it's the reality. It's the reality of the situation. Friday, what else are we missing today? Anything? You guys got anything as we clean up the week? The most Texan thing you have done? College football, basketball. We hadn't talked really since Texas Tech's opener. We said going into the game against A&M Commerce, up, down, in between. Don't read too much into it. Don't read too much into it. A&M Commerce, not a very good basketball team. I think Texas Tech, for the most part, did what you would want. They covered, which Texas Tech hasn't done a whole lot of that over the years. For those who were worried about the pace of the offense under McCasland, I think you would probably feel good about that. The three-point shooting minus Pop Isaacs was abysmal, really, for both teams. But it's one game against a not very good opponent. So impossible for me to make any sort of value judgments that I would extrapolate out into the 5-game, 10-game near term for this Texas Tech team. We just have to see what they look like. San Jose State, what is it? Then when's the first one? When is that Butler game coming up? Butler in the end of the month. By the end of the month, I think we'll know a few things. Do like the athletic ability around the rim, under the rim. Yeah, I mean, again, an outmanned opponent, but this is not a pedestrian team by any stretch. I got to see more of it to see what I'm seeing. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, Villanova, always tough in the Bahamas. Hey, Derek, glad you're watching, man. Good to see your name pop up. Hope everything is wonderful in your world. Any more? It'll probably be year 2 at the earliest that you see a McCasland era non-conference schedule look good. And this is the big difference between basketball and football. Basketball, they make up these schedules as they go along in the spring and summer. Football, well, we can't do anything. We scheduled this back in 1994, and we've got this game on the books, and we can't do anything. Basketball, baseball, they're like, hell, yeah, we can do it next week. What do you want to do? So these schedules the last few years have been put together while the program has been in a huge state of flux for the most part. After Beard, even the year going into year 2 for Adams was a bit of a flux that we now know is bigger fluxing than we realized even at the time in the offseason, and certainly this year. Again, new first-year coach. So you really got about a 4-year stretch here that you have scheduled without even knowing exactly what your roster was going to look like. That will change unless something weird happens and we start fluxing again. And I don't think anybody wants to flux in this manner or capacity. That you will see, hopefully, a better non-conference schedule begin to appear for men's basketball, because basketball rewards you. By playing tough games, it rewards you. By playing good opponents, it rewards you. The setup for now, at least until we get rid of the NCAA basketball tournament and we run our own outside the NCAA, you can play 5 or 6 really good teams, and if you go 3-2, you're just fine. Hell, you can go 2-3 depending on who you're playing, and you're just fine. And then obviously, the last few years you've been making up for bad schedule within the Big 12, which is going to help you out. The problem there, it leaves very little room for error within the Big 12. I'd much rather play a tough non-conference schedule, come out of that with whatever, in a really good RPI, be sitting there in the 20s, maybe the 15s, the 20s, 25s, as opposed to starting Big 12 with an RPI of 60. And every game going, you got to pull this back, you got to do that. That's no way to live. Ain't no way to live. And I think next year they can get back to that with the scheduling. Hola. I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish. Your score predictions. Not going to go too long tonight. Can Tech go 500 in conference? Yeah, I think they can go 500 in conference. I think that should be, for any legitimate team, a legitimate goal, and I believe Tech is a legitimate team. Again, the program wasn't messed up. The coach was messed up last year. Saw Tyson appeal approved for Cal. Good. I'm glad they got the appeal approved. He should be able to play. I mean, what? He's only been at like 6 or 7 schools now. He's been at Tech 4 times. I mean, my whole deal on that, let the guy play. What the hell does it matter? Tech doesn't care. Nobody cares. Let him play. Coaches move. Players move. I really don't care. I think now they just deny the first one. They go, they appealed it. Okay. Because the committees put together by the NCAA are trying to justify their existence. So they've got to do something. So, yeah, denied. Whatever. Ain't going to matter much longer, though, thanks to Jim Harbaugh, when he gets done eviscerating the Big 10 and eviscerating the NCAA. I just want to see him walk out tomorrow, flanked by 2 Michigan State troopers. And then the Big 10 shows up like some snivelly-nosed, little CPA guy with a little writ of, this is from the court. And, he's flanked by like 2 cabbies and we're here to inform you and serve you that you can't coach. I don't think I'm going to let you not allow me to coach today. And then the Michigan trooper shoots the guy from the Big 10. Okay, that probably won't play. It might not play out that way. That does seem a little excessive. Now that I say it out loud, there probably won't be a shooting in Happy Valley tomorrow involving Michigan state troopers and representatives of the Big 10. But it might happen. I mean, this is Big 10 football. It matters. Say it again. Everybody went to school on Kansas. Not that they hadn't been going to school on this stuff for a while, but with everything that is happening, with NIL, with you name it, regarding the NCAA, all of these schools now are looking around going, why are we adhering to anything? We don't have to. And we'll just drag it out in court for decades and it won't matter. They can hang this thing up in court for 2 years. Are we 3.5 still? I was looking on this tech number. I thought I saw one place out in the desert move it just a few minutes ago. Or from minus 114, that's got to be South Point. No, that's Circa where it's minus 114. Anyways, last chance. Give me your score predictions. Most Texan thing you've done. Anything else that's on your mind, we can visit with you about that here for just a few more minutes. I know it's unusual for me to be on a Friday night. We appreciate everybody jumping in. Those of you on the text line, brought to you by United Supermarkets, 806-772-0197. We will, of course, be with you guys tomorrow post-game for Raiderland Rewind, brought to you by Thacker Jewelry. 50 years of tradition in West Texas. Your love story may just well begin at Thacker Jewelry. Great backers of Texas Tech athletic sports and what we do in Raiderland. Drop by their showroom sometime, dudes and dudettes. But dudes, if you really want a cool watch for Christmas, and you know you do, go by and just drop a few hints to the wife, the girlfriend, hopefully not both at the same time. Citizens watches and just if you're a watch guy. Now, I'm not a watch guy. I wear a watch, but I'm a watch guy. I've known several. Watch guys are watch guys. You got to watch out for them. Kansas scores a lot, gives up points too. Tech 31-30, says Ron. Most Texan thing, got your Rangers championship t-shirt today. Good for you. Oh, that's right. The Rangers won the World Series. That's still kind of weird to say that out loud. World Series champion. Now, what do we do? What do we complain about now? You know, Cubs fans went through this. Red Sox fans went through it, obviously, in the early 2000s. That when your long-suffering team finally wins, it changes everything. What do you do? What you do is you become entitled. You become quickly entitled, and that will be the role of the Ranger fans going forward. That within 2 years, as they drop back down and Bruce Bochy retires and Chris Young, and, within 2 years, and you blow it up, done with this franchise, underachieving losers. So that's the next step in Ranger fanhood is you become entitled. I mean, Cubs fans, entitled. Red Sox fans like Chad Hasty Radio in Lubbock, Texas, highly entitled fans. So I think that's, and let's be honest, as Ranger fans, wouldn't it feel good to feel entitled? Won't that be a nice feeling to feel entitled? Yeah, these guys aren't getting it done. Come on, we're the Rangers. The Ranger way. You got a Ranger now. Cardinal fans entitled. They've been entitled since 1932. They've been entitled since the Gas House gang. I mean, they've been insufferable since the early 30s. Cardinals. Yeah. Thing with Cardinal fans is they try to act like they're better baseball fans than anybody else. They're more erudite. It's a baseball town. St. Louis is a baseball town. Yeah, you had the Browns in St. Louis for decades too. So don't give me we're a baseball town. You know, kind of. Because as a Cubs fan of the '80s, and I don't consider myself a Cubs fan now, but as a Cubs fan of the '80s, I had to hate the Cardinals because, well, the Cubs hated the Cardinals, so I hated the Cardinals. Even though I really didn't have anything against them personally, I was just trying to be a good Cub fan and a bought man. Hi, baseball heaven. That's Iowa, isn't it? Or is this in? Is this Iowa? No, it's Iowa. I was dropping Field of Dreams references in the truck with my wife the other day, and she's just looking at me like I'm nuts. The whole Moonlight Graham when Costner goes to see him, and he's talking to the old guy, and are you telling me there's enough magic in the moonlight night? What if I told you there's a place where things like that could happen? Tani should love Texas. What if I'm bearish on Ohtani and not bullish? What if I think that the run is possibly over? That the arm injury, that the whole thing just kind of comes to an end? That I'm just a little bit jaded? That he comes back and he's great, but what's it worth? I would not. I wouldn't invest in Ohtani if I were a team. Now, I know that sounds insane. Truly, it does. But you don't have to have him to win, do you? And if you have him, it doesn't necessarily mean that you win. And I'm a huge fan of Ohtani. Like DeGrom, yeah. DeGrom. You knew it was going to happen. At least he got farther along than Corey Kluber did. I don't know. I just there's the old jaded aspect of me that says, what if the best of Ohtani is out there in Anaheim now, and you never get that guy because you're going to have to pay for that guy. But I don't necessarily believe you get that guy. I can take that money and I can buy a whole bunch of guys that aren't maybe that guy, but are pretty good guys. And I can win. Rangers need middle relief, first and foremost, always. And you don't need Ohtani. Let somebody else overspend. Can't believe I'm saying this because I'm a huge fan of what he's done. But I don't know. If I were a fan, I would hate me as a general manager. I learned that years ago in the 1990s that were I a general manager, I would be totally against me as fan guy. Fan guy me would be wanting to do this. General manager me would be doing something else. I would hate me as a general manager, but I'd win. I guarantee I'd win. Randy, you got in just in time for us to just about wrap things up tonight. Again, United Supermarkets brings you the text line 806-772-0197. You'll use that tomorrow on the rewind after the game is over. One texter telling us it's Kansas 38, Tech 24. I think that's a little higher screen on Kansas than I've got it. Certainly, I've got it at 30-27 Kansas in overtime. Not out of the realm of possibility. Again, very explosive team. And when they get into a track meet with you at Allen Fieldhouse and 17,004 fans get going crazy, it is a hard bunch to deal with. Bill Self is going to have them primed and ready to go tomorrow. So, that's always a concern when you're dealing with Rock Chalk Jayhawk. They go to waving the wheat back and forth. You get dizzy. You kind of want to vomit just a little bit. Then they got that giant toucan Sam sitting there at the middle of the field. Just really weird, off-putting bird, mythical bird. Don't really know where it came from. If you really want to make them nervous, what you do is you have Texas Tech show up on horseback, completely clad in black, with a black flag with a white Q in the upper left-hand corner. And if you really want to get them jumpy, if you really want to get them nervous around the Compton and Lawrence in that area, then Texas Tech comes in all black with a white Q flag. Guys, anybody knows their history, then everybody's like, what the hell is he talking about? But there's a couple that might know. One or two. We whipped them good, Josie, didn't we? Yeah, we whipped them real good. Winning score will be 38 plus. I think you can win with 30. I think you can win with 30. Obviously, I'm picking at 30 to 27 in overtime. My dogs are barking outside, and that always makes me nervous. Outside the Arctic Air Studios, which thank God it's not as Arctic as it was last night. All right, going to shut it down. This is the portion of the program where we have to say hit the end of the stream for the multi-streaming platform. Yes, in stream. And then we got to sit here and wait. It kind of does